Hey garden people, it's seed starting time. Over the past couple years, I've started a lot of seeds. Some died, but a lot survived. So I wanted to share my tips and tricks to get successful seed starts for abundant crops.
First, we want to start with clean seed cell trays. If you're reusing trays, make sure to wash them with mild soap and water. I also like to spray it with a hydrogen peroxide solution to fully sanitize them. Wait 10 minutes, rinse them off, and we're good to go. For starting seeds, you're going to want a potting mix that has nutrients and aeration built for seed starting. This 420 potting soil has been my go-to lately because most of my seeds germinate with this blend. So test some potting mixes to see which works best for you. I like to add moisture to my seed starting mix. Wet it enough so it feels like a wrung out sponge. This makes it easier to keep the cells uniformly moist. Starting seeds can sometimes feel backbreaking, so find a spot where you can comfortably sit or stand. Now fill your tray with soil. You don't want to pack it in, but do make sure the soil level hits the top of each cell. Be mindful of the edges because those tend to not get enough soil. I think my hands are my best gardening tool, so I like to make seed holes with my fingers. The depth of the hole is dependent on how big your seed is. A good rule of thumb is to plant a seed at a depth of 2 times the width of the seed. So a bean seed versus a lettuce seed will be quite different. Then just plop your seed into each cell. For larger seeds, I do 1 seed per cell, but for smaller seeds, I do at least 2 seeds per cell. If you're sowing multiple varieties, make sure to write down the variety and where it sits in the tray. This step will save you heartache later, trust me. Once all the seeds are sown, I like to add a light sprinkling of potting mix on top to cover the seeds. You really only need just a bit to do the job. Then sprinkle a little water on top to set them in. And if you're bringing them inside, I like to add a tray underneath to capture any water. I have a grow light set up, so I'm tucking these plant babies under a light until they have their first set of true leaves. And don't forget to log in your garden journal what you've sown and when you've sown it. This will help you know what worked over time and what you might need to improve on in the coming growing season. Some plants might outgrow their tiny seed cell before you're ready to set them out in the garden. This is when you can transfer them into bigger pots. I like to use the same type of potting mix I used before so they have a familiar soil to go into. Carefully take out each baby plant. I just use an old fork and gently ease them out, trying not to disturb the roots. Then make a hole big enough for the plant to transfer into. And backfill with soil so it's nice and snug. Make sure to water them in and watch them grow. Potting up will allow your plants to grow bigger, stronger, and truly live their best life. Once your little seeds turn into actual baby plants, it's time for the hardening-off process. For 1 to 2 weeks, take your plants outside to acclimate them to outdoor conditions. If you skip this step, you risk your babies dying of transplant shock. This step is so important. Now your plant babies are ready for the real world. I like to transplant in the late afternoon so the sun isn't too harsh, but the ground will still be warm and they'll have the whole night to get established. Give your plants one last watering. This allows the plants to come out of their cells easier. Dig a hole in the ground, plop your plant baby in, and cover the roots up to the soil level the plant originally had in its seed tray. I like to really pack my lettuce in the bed initially because I know I'm going to lose some to slugs and other critters. But give your plants enough room to grow and become abundant. And of course, the final step, watering your plants in. Over the season, keep an eye on your babies and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Happy seed starting and subscribe for more gardening content like this.